We're getting closer and closer to the final stretches of season number 1 here in our NBA 2K24 MyNBA franchise with the Portland Trail Blazers. We've just made it through the All-Star break with Scoot Henderson winning the dunk contest. We saw Damian Lillard's return to Portland ultimately get spoiled as the Blazers got the win by 2 there with a missed game-tying layup at the buzzer from Jimmy Butler. So as it stands now, we're on the outside looking in of the play-in race, but we're not out of it per se, as we're currently tied for 11th place with the red-hot Minnesota Timberwolves at 26-35, and we're only a game back of 10th place, which is the spot to be if we want to potentially get one of those play-in spots. So we've got to play well over these last couple of weeks if we want any chance of grabbing a playoff spot. Here's a look at the numbers for the team on the year. Nothing overly new or interesting to report here. Today we'll be doing another prospect profile. We'll be going through more players within the draft class. We did a prospect profile earlier in the season in which we went over some of the top prospects. Today we're going to go over some of the mid-first rounders along with players whose stocks have risen up into the top who we may not have talked about yet. If everything holds up where it is, we're probably going to pick towards the middle of the lottery. Keep in mind, we only have 1 first-round pick this year. We have 3 next year, but only 1 this year as of now. As we look at the mock drafts, we're currently slated in 9th, and obviously we can move up and down the draft lottery, and we've still got a month left to go in this season, so that could very well change. So we're going to go through basically the entirety of the first round. And again, we've already gone through most of these guys at the top. In case you missed that episode, you can find it in the series playlist, where you can find any episode of a series you may have missed. Right now, I think it's a 3-way race for the number 1 pick between Jaden Prospero from Texas, Jaden Hudson, the Canadian wing, and Darius Springer from Duke. I think Hudson has the edge, but it could be any of those guys. So why is Elias Sharp within this group as well? The freshman guard out of Illinois is not projected to go in the top 3 in the mock drafts. He's actually really all over the place. But I could see him going in the top 10, and that's because he has had a phenomenal freshman season with the Illini. He's a super well-rounded guard. He's got solid size at 6'4", solid enough athlete, and he's really shown a solid ability as a scorer, playmaker, and defensive player. There aren't really many major weaknesses to his game, which for an 18-year-old, you really just don't find that type of prospect who checks all the boxes like that, especially at the point guard position. So I think somebody's going to fall in love with this kid's IQ, his maturity for such a young age, and I think he could end up going quite high. Maybe not top 3, but quite high. Let's look at the Carolina boys, Tyson Ledbetter and Thaddeus Fontaine, both of whom have had their stocks go up throughout the year. We'll start with Fontaine, who's a big 6'9", 240-pound power forward. He is a big, physical player on both ends of the floor. A handful defensively inside, and then he's just bigger and stronger than you on offense. He may not have the athleticism that Zion Williamson has, but I think the rest of his game does have a lot of parallels. He is a better three-point shooter than Zion. I think that's going to give him an advantage offensively to space the floor. He just doesn't have as much athletic dominance that Zion does, which is obviously a big part of his game. But he can space the floor, he's a bully inside, and he's a good interior defender. And then we've got Tyson Ledbetter from the rival South Carolina, a talented, explosive guard who can win in a variety of different ways. He's a tough, hard-nosed player defensively, and I think he is one of the better young defensive guards we've seen enter the league over the last couple of years. He's a little bit inconsistent as a scorer offensively, but he is pretty solid at driving to the basket. He's a good shooter, especially in the mid-range. I think the A three-point grade here is a little bit generous, but I do think his three-point shot has improved throughout the year, which suggests that it will certainly improve once he gets drafted into the NBA. Let's look down the board a little bit farther now. Again, there are some guys we've talked about in this range, such as Omarion Knight from Florida State, Cassius Maxey from UCLA, and Caden Ko out of UConn. Let's take a look at this next batch of 4 players who are all sort of fringe lottery guys, with Tanner Calhoun out of the University of Kansas, Cameron Banks, the guard from Duke, Joshua Villarreal from UTSA, and Sebastian Bouye from Oklahoma State. Of this group, we're going to really take a look into Tanner Calhoun. I think he's a really intriguing win prospect. This is somebody who can shoot the ball and is a gifted scorer. The rest of his game needs a lot of work, but I do think he has the size and athleticism to eventually be a good defender. He does remind me quite a bit of Grady Dick coming out of Kansas last year. Both of them 6'8", 6'9" in that range. Both of them have athleticism and have the defensive intangibles. They're just not all that good defensively, but they're both knockdown shooters, especially off the catch. And I think Tanner Calhoun's going to have a very similar career trajectory to what Grady Dick will eventually have. Let's look a little bit further now into the post-lottery area, and there are some intriguing prospects here with Darren Graham, Sheck Doucouré, and Amadou Mwangi. We'll start with Darren Graham, a 6'8" guard out of UConn. He can really play the 1 through the 4, but he's got such great court vision and a knack as a playmaker that he basically is the point guard of the UConn offense. He has joined this new age of big guards who have entered the NBA. Think of guys like Josh Giddey, for example, a bigger guard who knows how to be able to run the offense and has other skills of a forward. Now, Graham is not a particularly great scorer, similar to Giddey off the bat, and I don't even think he's as good of a scorer as Josh Giddey will be, but the playmaking at his size is really impressive. We've had a number of our scouts overseas, and one of the foreign-born players who we are intrigued by is German forward Sheck Doucouré. He's a freak athlete, but he is ridiculously raw, to put it nicely. He originally hails from Mali, which is in West Africa, and he's pretty new to the game of basketball. He's only been playing since he was 15 years old, and it's pretty easy to tell that he's got a long ways to go in his development. But the ceiling with him is really high, similarly to like Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's a good example of a success story, but for every Giannis, there's 10 Sekou Doumbouya's, for example. Doucouré is an absurd athlete. He's not really great at anything else, but I think he's got the size and length to eventually be a good defensive player, and hopefully he can improve his shooting. And if he does, maybe he'll be a good player down the line, but whoever drafts him is going to have to be patient. Let's take a look into the 20s now. I think Australian forward Florian Mack could be good value here. He's built like a tank, 6'10", 250 pounds, at just 18 years old. I think he has an intriguing skill set offensively, an improving jumper. I think he's got some solid defensive versatility, and he's pretty quick for his size, being a really big guy. Federico Simone Mandrinin is someone who I think is one of the more polished 18-year-olds I've seen. He comes from Florida Atlantic. He's a good spot-up shooter, solid enough athlete, and he really doesn't have many major weaknesses. He's a decent playmaker. He's a decent defender. Not great in those areas, but certainly not bad either. And I think he's got a pretty high floor. I think he can be a solid role player, hopefully for a playoff or contending team within the next couple of years. And I think pretty shortly you could be looking at a pretty good player here. As we take a look at the guys projected in the late first round, there are some names to certainly look out for here. Cameron Pancaro, Fabian Huebger, Jalen Bridges II. I want to look at Fabian Huebger in specific. He's a German prospect who wasn't really on the radar of NBA scouts coming into the year, but boy, has that changed. This young man has been really impressive, playing himself into first-round conversations. He's a really good playmaker for his size. He's really more of a traditional wing, but he's got a good feel for the game as a passer. I like what he provides defensively. He's really inefficient and inconsistent as a scorer, but you do see the flashes there. And with him being a young guy, only 19 years old, I think the upside is certainly there. So these are the players projected to go in the first round of the 2024 draft as of now. Again, the order is certainly subject to change. We're probably going to see more guys rise up, especially with March Madness coming. And we're going to take another look at the draft class once we get towards the end of the year. We're going to play against the Atlanta Hawks. I want to look at this new team with Pascal Siakam and Kelly Olynyk, who they acquired via trade. They also signed John Wall as well, so we'll simulate these 3 games at home. Ochai Abaji's been banged up. He is now fully healthy, and his fully healthy stretch would last 1 game. Severe left ankle sprain against the Rockets. He'll be out for around a month, maybe the rest of the year. We ended up going 1-2 in the games we simmed. We beat the Raptors with a 30 ball from Scoot Henderson. We got blown out by the Rockets, though, which is embarrassing, and then lost by only 2 against Boston. So that'll bring us into this game against a really good Atlanta team. They appear to be legitimately contending in the Eastern Conference. The Trae Young and DeJounte Murray backcourt has looked a lot better this year than it has last year, and they've acquired a third all-star in Pascal Siakam, and they did have to give up a lot to get him in a package that featured AJ Griffin, DeAndre Hunter, and multiple first-round picks, but ultimately I think it's going to be worth it, assuming the Hawks re-sign Pascal Siakam in the offseason. I feel like Spicy P is one of the more underrated stars in the league, and I think he fits fairly well with this Atlanta lineup. They did lose a lot of depth with that trade. It's 2024. John Wall being your sixth man is not ideal, as much as I love John Wall back in the day. So Onyeka Okongwu and Ben Simmons will meet up for the tip-off. This one will go to Okongwu and the Hawks, and we are underway here in Portland. Atlanta, the first to score. They lead 2-0. Here's Onyeka Okongwu with the size mismatch. He misses it. Good defense by Scoot, but Okongwu's fair for the offensive rebound and the putback. 4-0. Here's Henderson, guarded by Trae Young, maybe the worst defensive player in the NBA. So hopefully Scoot's going to have a real opportunity to have a big day offensively. DeJounte Murray with it. He's tightly guarded by Anthony Simons. Step back jumper, no good. But Okongwu's fair for the putback again. Onyeka Okongwu with all 6 points for Atlanta to open up the game. Here's Trae Young, pick and roll. Okongwu again. He has been the go-to guy so far for Atlanta. They are attacking Ben Simmons defensively, and it's working. There's Bogdan Bogdanovic for 3. And the Hawks are dominating. They lead this game 11-2. Murray inside. Onyeka Okongwu with the slam. Okongwu has 10 points. The entire Blazers team has 2. DeJounte Murray makes a contested layup, and it's now 15-2. The Trailblazers call a timeout. This is quickly turning into a disaster. They've just got to get points. Ben Simmons posts up on Trae Young, and he misses it. That's just the kind of day it has been for the Blazers so far. On the other end, Bogdanovic to Trae Young for 3, and the Atlanta Hawks are winning 18-2. My God, the Blazers have to wake up. This is a disaster. Anthony Simons hits the mid-range jumper, thank God. The Hawks were on a 14-0 run until that play. Now Jeremy Grant has it stripped away. In transition, DeJounte Murray hits the pull-up jumper, and the Hawks are back up by 16 points halfway through the first quarter. It's 20-4. Simmons to Jeremy Grant for 3, knocks it down. Okay, the Blazers are getting a couple shots to fall, but they've got to start playing well defensively, and they've got to have the offense keep it going. Murray misses, but he gets the offensive rebound and the putback. The Hawks have looked dominant on the glass so far, and it's kind of crazy because in the game against Miami, Portland was dominant on the glass. Nice play by Shaedon Sharpe. He's on the board. It's 22-9. John Wall, the former multiple-time All-Star, connects on the 3. Scoot Henderson dares him to shoot, and it pays off. 29-13 now. The score has really not gotten that much closer. Simons contested 3 is good. Nice shot by Anthony Simons. I think the Blazers' offense is really starting to look a lot better, but their defense is not. Jordan Clarkson with the slam, and Portland now has 20. They have scored 18 points in the last 3 minutes after scoring 2 in the first 5 minutes. Kelly Olynyk, the former Trailblazer, in for the layup. Portland got 2 second-rounders and Patty Mills for him at the deadline. Oh, Shaedon Sharpe going up, and away with the slam. 35-22. Here's Sharpe inside. Good pass. Ben Simmons dunks it home. What has happened? The Blazers' offense looked like they couldn't do anything early, and now they've exploded. The deficit is within 11. Here's Anthony Simons with it. Final seconds of the quarter. Over to Shaedon Sharpe at the buzzer. It is no good. So most of that quarter was an utter disaster, but the Blazers are only down by 11. The offense was incredible the final 5 minutes of the first quarter after playing horribly. The defense has been bad all around, though. Good defensive stop to start the second quarter from Nikola Jovic. On the other end, Jordan Clarkson with the slam, and we are within single digits. I'm surprised it's happened this quick. Here's Pascal Siakam, Spicy P, with a dime for Kelly Olynyk, who hits the jumper. The former backup Blazers big man hits the jumper over the new backup big man, Charles Bassey. Here's Nikola Jovic in the corner for Nasir Little. Fear Nasir. He hits the 3. 39-29. Here's DeJounte Murray with it. Snuffed at the rim by Bassey. Kelly Olynyk gets it back, though. Olynyk has been really good in his revenge game against his former team. Here's Nikola Jovic in the corner. Nasir Little with another one. Nasir Little has significantly improved as a shooter off the catch this year. It's been great to see. Here's Jovic off of an offensive rebound. That was a horrible putback attempt. My goodness, I want to gauge my eye sockets out after seeing that. And then on the other end, Siakam gets the dunk. 43-34 now. Here's Jordan Clarkson with it. He's trapped. Jovic open in the corner. And Nikola Jovic hits the three. Other than that airballed layup, Jovic has been really good today on both ends of the floor. Henderson gets it over to Nasir Little with room on the move. Good shot by Nasir Little. He's got 8 points here in the first half. 45-39. The Blazers continuing to make this a game. Here's Jeremy Grant for three. It's good. Remember when the Trailblazers were down by 16? It's now a one-score game. And the Blazers made up that deficit quickly. We're still having 3.5 minutes left in the first half. DeJounte Murray with the layup, 47-42. Here's Scoot Henderson, only 2 points today. Off the pick and roll, Jeremy Grant with the dunk. 47-44 with 3 to go in the half. Here's Trae Young with it. He's had a quiet day scoring the ball, but he fools Scoot Henderson with a dime for Kelly Olynyk, who gets the dunk. Trae Young has been quiet as a scorer, but he's been very effective as a playmaker. Maybe Trae Young's been quiet scoring-wise, but DeJounte Murray certainly has not. Murray drills the three, and the Hawks are back up by 8. 52-44, here's Scoot Henderson off the screen from Simmons. Blows by Onyeka Okongwu. In for the slam. 54-48, under 20 to go in the first half. Here's Shaedon Sharpe. Deep three from well beyond the arc. He knocks it down. Shaedon Sharpe from way downtown, and it's 56-51. Final seconds of the first half. Pick and pop. Henderson over to Jeremy Grant at the buzzer. No good off the contest by Trae Young, who has been oddly effective defensively. Scoot Henderson only has 4 points. He's been really inefficient, and part of that's just him struggling, but another part of that has been Trae Young's defense. Nonetheless, the Blazers have to feel good only being down by 5, considering they started the game down 18-2. Here's Anthony Simons. Fadeaway three is good. Big start to the third quarter for the Trailblazers. As it's 58-54, here's Shaedon Sharpe, guarded by Bogdanovic. Sharpe inside. Good move by Shaedon Sharpe. He's in the double figures. Sharpe averaging around 19 a game since the All-Star break. He has been fantastic in recent weeks for the Blazers. Trae Young off the screen hits the three. We'll see if Trae Young really catches fire offensively in the second half. Nice move by Murray. He misses the shot. Good defense by the Blazers. On the other end, Shaedon Sharpe. Wide open for three. It's good. And the Blazers take the lead. Who would have thought after being down 18-2 in the first quarter, Portland is winning. Their lead will not last too long. Pascal Siakam puts the Hawks right back ahead. 64-63. Here's Henderson inside for Jeremy Grant. Grant's guarded by Trae Young. And he misses it. What is with this Trae Young defense today? My goodness. Why has he turned into Gary Payton all of a sudden? Siakam hits the mid-range jumper. Siakam started the game off 1 of 7, but has been a lot more effective since. Shaedon Sharpe inside with the floater. I'm surprised he didn't go for the dunk there. 68-65, Atlanta ahead. DeJounte Murray off the screen. Fadeaway three is good. Nice shot for DeJounte Murray as it's 73-65. Here's Shaedon Sharpe with 16 points. Sharpe takes it himself to Bassey. Over to Anthony Simons for three. Knocks it down. Back to a one-score game, 75-72. Here's Shaedon Sharpe with it over to a wide-open Jeremy Grant for the tie. The Blazers have shot the three ball quite well here in the second half, and we are knotted up. Portland looking to get the lead back. Here's Shaedon Sharpe in for the layup. Sharpe with 20 points on the day, 11 of which have come here in the third quarter. Charles Bassey's doubled. Somebody's going to be open. It's Sharpe who heaves up a prayer, and it's good. Shaedon Sharpe is unconscious, scoring the basketball right now. 14 points in the third quarter alone. Portland leads, but again, not for long. Big third quarter for Siakam himself. He would tie it. 80-81 now, Blazers ahead. Siakam looking to put the Hawks ahead, and he does. What a big third quarter for Pascal Siakam after really struggling in the first half. Portland going to get one more shot. Clarkson with a prayer, and it is no good. Solid third quarter, though, for the Blazers. They had the lead on multiple occasions, and they're only down by 1. Now, unfortunately, the Hawks are in takeover mode. They've got a nice opportunity to build this lead back. Bogdanovic hits the three for Atlanta. 85-81, Jovic over to Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson gets the screen from Jovic. Clarkson takes it himself with the rack attack. He's in the double figures. 89-83, here's Anthony Simons, blows by the defense, and Simons makes the layup. He's had a solid night scoring the ball with 13 points. 89-85, here's John Wall in the corner. Wall is trapped, still to the rack. John Wall trying to show that he still has some left in the tank. 91-85, here's Clarkson, fadeaway three, no good. Ben Simmons with the offensive rebound and the putback. Simmons with 8 and 10 tonight. 91-87. Murray in the corner. It's Bogdanovic once again. His second three-pointer of the quarter. 96-89 with 6 to go. Here's DeJounte Murray. Gets the screen. Murray step back inside. It is good. Atlanta started the quarter in takeover mode. They were able to build up a nice lead, and they're continuing to add to it. 98-89. Simmons with the offensive rebound to Grant in the corner. Big three for the Trailblazers. They needed that one as we are back within 6. Here's DeJounte Murray in the corner. Murray's been on fire all night long. Blows by Sharp, and Murray is in for the layup. What a game for DeJounte Murray. 100-94. Murray to Pascal Siakam, who continues to have a monster second half for Atlanta. 8-point lead, under 4.5 to go. Shaedon Sharp gets the screen. Sharp inside. Oh me, oh my! Shaedon Sharp goes up, and away. Posterizing Siakam. Sharp now with a team-high 27 points on the night. 102-96. Here's Trae Young trapped in the corner. Young escapes, makes the layup. It's an 8-point game. The Blazers got to start a comeback quick if they want any shot to win. That's not a bad start. Off the inbound, Anthony Simons hits the open three. 104-99. Here's Trae Young inside. Young thinks about the shot, then takes it. It's no good. Rebound by Ben Simmons. Simmons over to Shaedon Sharp with room for three. It is good. Back-to-back threes from Sharp and then Simons earlier, and the game is within 2. Sharp now with a 30 ball. Trae Young looks to respond. He misses the open three. That was a perfect opportunity for Atlanta to capitalize. On the other end, Simons is blocked. Simmons gets it back for the tie. Ben Simmons now with a double-double, 10, 16, and 5. Simmons inside is going to take the charge. Good job by Okongwu to set his feet. Portland could have had the lead there, but the charge will prevent that. On the other end, Trae Young off the pick and roll puts Atlanta ahead. 106-104 with 2 minutes to go. Grab your popcorn, folks. We could be in for a thrilling ending. Sharp no good. Simmons with the rebound, and Ben Simmons misses another layup. You gotta make that shot. On the other end, here's Trae Young, guarded by Henderson. Young with a little bit of room, hits it with a sweet kiss off the glass. 108-104, Simmons over to Sharp. He's got to be the guy with the ball. He's got 30 as he connects on a challenging step back, and we are back within 2. 108-106 with a minute to play. Bogdanovic to Young for the layup, and the Atlanta Hawks are ahead by 4. Portland's got to make a shot on this possession, whether it's Sharp or somebody else. Just get someone open. Scoot inside, misses. Good defense by Atlanta. Trae Young and DeJounte Murray both there to make the play. A couple of Hawks free throws later, it's a 6-point game. Simons misses the 3. Siakam with the rebound. And it is not looking good, folks. 8-point game with seconds to go. Clarkson at the buzzer. It is no good, and that'll wrap this one up here in Portland. The Atlanta Hawks win it, 121-113. Got to give the Blazers some credit. They fought back after a really rough start, down 18-2. And they played a lot better as the game went along. We had the lead at certain points in the third quarter. Shaedon Sharp was unbelievable and efficient, 34 points. He had 25 in the second half, really taking over this game. 34 points is a season and career high for Shaedon Sharp. Really the best offensive game of his NBA career, and he continues to produce since the All-Star break. Simons with 16, Grant with 14. Scoot Henderson really struggled, though. I was hoping he would take advantage of his matchup being guarded by Trae Young. Instead, he goes 4 of 19 from the field and 0 for 6 from 3. Ben Simmons with a double-double, though, as we look at Atlanta. 38 for DeJounte Murray. He was phenomenal through the entire game. 38, 6, and 6 to be exact. Trae Young started off slow, but he really picked it up in the second half with 28. Pascal Siakam also started slow, and he also picked it up with 15 and 12. Okongwu started the game on fire with a double-double. And Kelly Olynyk against his former team was quite good. Strong win for Atlanta, but I do give the Blazers credit for battling back against one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I really feel like this Atlanta team has the makings of a team who could win a couple playoff series. So we're going to simulate our next couple of weeks. We're going to wrap up our 5-game homestand against the Knicks. Then we head on the road against the Pelicans and Bulls. Then we play the Clippers again, and the Nuggets. So I'm curious to see how we do in this 6-game stretch. And as we simulate, we end up going 2-4. We win the first game, we win the last game, and we lose all the other ones in between. So I do want to look at a couple of these box scores. We'll start with the 17-point win against the Knicks. This was one day after the Atlanta loss, where Scoot Henderson is coming off arguably the worst game of his career, and he gets 29 and 12. Big rebound. And then in the other win, Scoot had 30 and 7. The other notable performance I want to point out against New Orleans, we lost by 22, but Anthony Simons had 44 points, the most by a Blazer this season. I want to talk about Shaedon Sharpe, though, real quick. I want to look at his splits. Since the All-Star break, he's averaging 18.6 points per game on really solid efficiency. Shaedon Sharpe has continued to improve throughout the year, and I really feel like we have a true star with Shaedon Sharpe. His elevation has been noticeable, and I think in year 3 of his career, he could take a really big leap, and I'm excited about it. Now, the team hasn't really made up ground. We also haven't really lost ground. We're still in 11th place. Instead of being 1 back of the Jazz, we're now 4 back, though. So I guess in that sense, we have lost ground in terms of how many games we need to catch up with. We only have 10 games left on the schedule, 7 of which are on the road, which is not ideal. And in these 3 weeks, we'll find out if we make the play-in or if our season comes to a close. That'll wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Next time around, we will wrap up season number 1 of the regular season. A play-in spot looks really, really slim, but it's still possible. We're holding out a little bit of hope. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.